Have you ever wondered how to add a unit into your Civ3 game, but you just didn't know where to start? Well, today you're going to find out how. First things first, besides liking and potentially subscribing if you want to, we will be opening up the Civ3 editor. So the Civ3 editor, if you don't know where it is in the directory, which is, I'll add it onto the screen right now in post. And so the first thing you want to do is you want to enable rules. So custom rules, as well as set up a custom directory. So we'll call that tutorial directory. You can always add a unit here. So like so. The second step would be to then open up your folder directory, which is a nice easy way of doing it. It's just to here, and then folder, and then you need to make sure it matches. So tutorial really should be easy to spell, and yeah, that's it. And that's where all of our files are going to go. Once we are inside this directory, you then want to add in two folders, one called text and one called art. And in those we're going to start adding in our assets, which we might as well start on doing now. So first of all, you want to go onto the base game files. So not the base game files, they're actually the ones for Conquest expansion, which you can find here. And then you've got to copy in PediaIcons and Civilopedia, and these can go inside here. See? The next step, we will then start editing the units. So to do that, you can open up the scenario properties tab, which you can do that when you pressing edit here, as you can see here. And now we're going to then go into units, and then we are going to just add a new unit. It's often easier just to edit a pre-existing unit, because we want to add a whole new one into the game. We're just going to do it this way. So we'll do this, and today we're making a guy with a flamethrower. So go into here. The next step, you want to make sure you fill in all the details, and one way I like to do that is to actually open up a blank file, I guess. Custom rules, okay, like that, and then you can compare them side by side. Let's make him the same as the Marine, but with a bit more attack. So, and then you're just going to copy this across, which I'm just going to cut to now. So as you can see, we have now filled in all of the areas in here. So we're given him movement points, a shield cost, an attack strength and defense strength, a bombard strength. If you do it so that you can't bombard but has a bombard strength, we'll actually give him defensive bombard, which is something that archers have as well as other units. We've given him the ranged attack animation and foot unit from here, but we've not given him amphibious because that's what the Marine is for. And yeah, you've also given him all of these special actions like load, airlift, pillage, capture, so you can capture cities, as well as a bit of a gimmick, clear forest and clear jungle. And to make sure that works, you need to make sure you do the worker strength as well. So this may seem like a lot, but trust me, as soon as you start doing it once, it becomes like second nature. And having something to compare, make sure that you don't make any mistakes. And you've also set the AI tags like offensive and defensive, so that the AI knows how to use them, making the game fun, as well as giving him a required resource, just to make the game a little bit more difficult. I forgot to mention the most important bit. You also need to make sure you fill this in here. It has to start off with PRTO, and a underscore, and then what you put after, as long as it doesn't isn't the same as another unit, it can be anything. So we've just stuck in flamethrower, so it's nice and easy to remember. The next step, we want to go into the file directory we created there earlier, and then into the art subfolder. And then you want to create a new folder, and then you want to make sure it matches the name of what we did earlier, or the PRTO. Just make them the same, makes your life so much easier. So do flamethrower. And then you want to then import the assets. One way of doing it is to rip them from a conquests, or alternatively you can create your own or download them. There's plenty of sites out there. Civ Fanatics is probably the best. Like, there's so much there. There's literally hundreds, if not thousands, of assets. There's definitely thousands, but definitely hundreds of unit assets. So now I have just opened up the World War II in the Pacific directory, which is in Conquests. So you can see the base game, Conquests for the Conquest scenarios, World War II in the Pacific, Art, Units, which I forgot to mention, you need to put it in earlier, so Units, and then we're going to take it from the Combat Engineer. So you just take all of this, don't need to rename anything, it will do the magic by itself, and then just paste. And that will all work when we open up the game itself. You also want to make sure that you rename this file here inside the flamethrower units art directory. You also want to rename that to the name of your unit, flamethrower, as so. The next step, we want to go back over to units, and then we're going to create a Civilopedia folder. I'm just copying something from my second screen. Make sure I spell it right, because this game is a nightmare. It's very pedantic. So you do that, and then you also create icons, and then you want to create a unit folder within the icons folder. And from here you just copy them across. Here they already are in this area, but it's good practice just in case someone's modified their base game assets for some unknown reason, or if you're including downloaded assets, of course you wouldn't have the redundancy here. Next on our list is editing those goddamn files that we found earlier in the text directory. So first of all, what we're going to want to do is going to go back to the base directory in our scenarios, open up texts, and then we're going to start editing the Civilopedia. You can do this in any application, we're just doing it in WordPad today. Now you want to try and find the units. A good way of doing this is to use Control F, and then we're going to do this, take us straight to the Marine, because we based it on the Marine, so we might as well use this as our base. And gunpowder foot units. We'll just go straight to the top. It doesn't really matter the order that it's in, as long as you format it correctly. So it needs to start off with the hashtag and the PTRO underscore, but here we're just going to put in flamethrower to make it match what we did earlier inside the editor. You can see here it's got the formatting here, so we're just going to go and change this up real quick to make it match what our unit actually does. So we've now just we filled it all in. We've used the square brackets like this to surround the text here. This will make it italicized, I think, and you use curly brackets to make it bold. So this will make the name of the unit and what its special abilities stand out. We've also kept this here to say what it is, like what it needs. strategic resources, it's always good to link to that if you've used it. Honestly, just use the other units as a template for this. Say if you need horses instead, you could there you go, horse, and you could just copy that across. So yeah, so go upwards and go back to rubber. There we go. So we've gone back here. We've also got this here. This will give us a second page with all the background information about the unit, and so we're just giving us a nice little bit of information here. This will all be in one paragraph. You use these sort of things here to break up the paragraphs. So if you want to do another paragraph, you use these little, what they call, like the circumflexes, to delineate it. So yeah, next step will involve us editing. This is where if it's going to go wrong at any point, it will go wrong here. But don't sweat out too much. It's not difficult. It's just temperamental, and that is to edit the PediIcons file. So we're going to open it up, and we're going to go to the marine again, and we're going to just nick the marine. So we've got the marine right here, and so we're just going to stick it up here at the top, and we're going to just type in flamethrower. And now we're also going to check our game art. That's not the right game art, and this is also not the right text, so that's going to be this one here. Sorry. And then we're just going to go and double check what our art. Okay, so you can see here it's X2, combat eng, large and small. So we're going to go back onto this here, and we're just going to make it match, which is I've got file extension. You need to include the file extensions, and I always have that setting turned on. So turning it on might help. You can see that here in the view setting here if you're using Windows 10. So, and yeah, it's just in the standard directory. So here and here. So by keeping this, I mean, you can do your own layout, but if you diverge from it, then you just need to create more work for yourself. So I would 100% just recommend that you just keep the structure that they keep, unless you've got a really good reason for doing otherwise. Like maybe you're making your mod semi-modular or something like that, in which case feel free, go ahead, do what you want. So yeah, specifying these icon files is the one area which, if you don't do, your game is likely to crash. Like whenever I seem to have a problem with my game not loading, it's generally because either PediIcons is not configured correctly, or I just didn't paste in the image file that it refers to. Like that was what's, if your game is crashing, it's generally something to do with the PediA files or something the PediA files is referring to. So yeah, and you can see here it's there. You've got to keep it in large and then small. It's just the way it is for the units at least. For other types of assets, it's got its own logic. It's very arcane almost, but it is what it is. Next thing we want to do is we want to do the animations. So that's also dealt with this. So it's not just PediIcons, this is actually used for all visual assets. So we're going to just where are we? We're going to find the marine again. And just do this. So we're going to do, I think this is the right thing. If not, well, are we going to get you get to see the bugs process. So that's flamethrower and flamethrower. So this is going to be the name of the directory that we're referring to. And yeah, save, and then we just need to save it. And close it, and that's going to be it. Let's just see how it runs. So we've now got the flamethrower in our game, and let's just see how it works. So we'll just do random. See if we're getting an arid map, an arid warm 3 billion map. Sounds good to me. Small roaming seems good. Germany seems pretty good to me. It's pretty standard. Yeah, don't mind the fact that we've got the princess. And voila. Let's have a look at the Civilopedia. It's loaded in fine, so it should all be there. And yeah, the flamethrower is there, which is great. First time round, practically unheard of. With doing this, like PediaIcons is so temperamental. Like I've been messing around with it for years, and even I don't get it right first time every time. So yeah, you can see all of its stats in there. You can see you've got the italics there. There we go. It doesn't mention the rubber, so I must have formatted it slightly incorrectly there. But hey, look, it's mostly there. So just mess around with it yourselves. The game doesn't crash, so I think this is pretty much a job well done. So one thing I've just done is that I've just intentionally introduced a typo into the PediaIcons file, just to show what will happen when an error occurs. So we're going to load it up. There we go. Yep, here it is. Like, so you'll come up with this, and you can see here I've put an extra T. So let's sort this out. So open up the PediaIcons file, and then we remove the extra T, and then we save, and then we've also I've shown you that we had an extra line break here. Blank line seemed to make it want to skip until the next hashtag, so hopefully that sorts that out. And let's have a look, see if that sorted it. Yes, and you can see here that it's done it. But anyway, thank you for watching this tutorial of mine. It's been good fun filming it. Hopefully it can be useful to you. Of course, if you found it useful, like and subscribe for more content like this. Comment down below if you found it helpful, if you have any tips for other people doing this. A massive thanks to Pelo on Discord, who wrote the original tutorial, which I've based this video off of. I'm going to put links in the description below to the text form of this tutorial. I know how to do this already myself before, but he's just way better at like going through it systematically. So massive credits to him for being able to produce this content. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again for another tutorial or gameplay video.